He is the richest African American in the United States, with a net worth of about $5 billion. He was told, "You're a very smart guy. You just have your heritage to overcome in order to be successful in business." His company manages $46 billion in investments, with a portfolio of more than 50 software companies that employ over 60,000 people around the world. In this episode, we will discuss the life of Robert Frederick Smith. Robert was born on December 1, 1962. He grew up in Colorado. His parents were both high school principals. Robert is known for not only his wealth, but also his generosity of giving wealth away. The act of giving was instilled in him from a young age by his parents. He saw his dad making sure that all the little kids who looked like him had a local YMCA to go to. He would ask his mother for Converse All-Stars, and his mother would tell him to go earn the money. But at the same time, she would write $25 checks to the UNCF every month. As a child, he would think that $25 would help him buy 2 pairs of shoes. But his mother wanted to show him the importance of giving back to the community. "I saw parents who gave generously their time, efforts, and intellectual capacity to our community." Robert recalls looking out the window during a snowy day and noticing that the snow removal trucks have yet to clean roads. The trucks showed up only after the wealthier neighborhoods were cleaned. When Robert was young, his mother took him to Martin Luther King's speech in Washington, D.C. This experience made Robert understand that his community stands for something. Robert saw the effects of the Great Inflation in the 1970s, when businesses were struggling to pay bills. It affected small and medium businesses. Business owners such as Miss Russ's Cafeteria, Miss McGee's Diner, the fried chicken place, the dry cleaners, all those little stores in our neighborhood, they were decimated. Those business owners never came back. And maybe it was this experience that forced Robert to make his moves in August 2020, as we will later find out. Seeing how hard his parents work drove him to apply for intern position at Bell Labs. However, landing a job was not easy. After numerous calls at Bell Labs, he was told that he could only apply if he was in college. As Robert was just in high school, he did not qualify. However, this was Robert. His reply, "While I am only a junior in high school, I'm getting A's in computer science and my advanced math courses. So it's like I was in college." But that didn't work, and Bell Labs told him to try again when he would be in college. Robert didn't give up and continued to call them every day for 2 weeks straight. They stopped taking his calls after the second day, and then he tried calling every Monday for 5 months. One day, Bell Labs called back and said that an intern from MIT hadn't showed up and asked if he was interested. Robert had secured an internship at Bell Labs. He spent the following 4 years working as an intern at Bell Labs and also studies chemical engineering at Cornell University. He continued to work at Bell Labs during summer and winter breaks before graduating Cornell with a degree. After graduating, he worked at Goodyear Tire and Rubber, followed by Kraft General Foods, where he obtained 2 United States and European patents, including one for a coffee brewer filtration device and a coffee brewing element. While working at Kraft, he was invited to give a talk in California at one of the big conventions. A man approached him and asked him how their product extended the shelf life of rice. As Smith was explaining the science behind it, the man told Smith, "You're a very smart guy. You just have your heritage to overcome in order to be successful in business." And that stuck with Smith. Smith went on to get his MBA from Columbia University in New York. After finishing business school, Smith decided to join the world of investment banking, as he had met a lot of executives and discovered that investment banking is how assets get transferred on this planet. Investment banking is a discussion that involves CEOs and board members. It is a very strategic discussion, and that was quite interesting to me. He discussed his plans with family and friends, and they all thought Smith was insane, as he was throwing all his education away. In 1994, he joined Goldman Sachs as co-head of enterprise systems. He executed and advised on over $50 billion in merger and acquisition activity, with companies such as Apple, Microsoft, Texas Instruments, eBay, and Yahoo. He was the first person in San Francisco at Goldman to focus solely on mergers and acquisitions of technology and software companies. Working for some time at Goldman Sachs, Smith saw two tech giants emerge, Microsoft and IBM. Looking deeper, Smith saw that majority of tech companies were either ran by a code developer or by someone who knew a market opportunity and sold the code. There was no one who knew how to effectively run a software company. Smith decided to take the risk and discussed his plans with his coworkers at Goldman Sachs. His peers, they tried to talk him out of it. When I left my post at Goldman Sachs just after we had gone public to set up a private equity firm called Vista Equity Partners, my mentors and colleagues at Goldman thought I had lost it. But Smith had made up his mind. And so at 39 in 2000, Smith launched Vista Equity Partners, a private equity group that invests in software companies. Vista currently manages about $46 billion in investments with a portfolio of more than 50 software companies. Vista is one of the best-performing private equity firms, posting annual returns of 22%. Smith is also a member of the Giving Pledge, which was founded by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to encourage the world's wealthiest to donate a majority of their fortunes to charity. As everyone, Smith has his own way to relax. He likes to fish, standing still in the water and allowing water to pass through his legs. It helps be more mindful, more thoughtful. While addressing the graduates at the Morehouse College in 2019, Smith told the 396 graduating students that he would pay off their student loans. This move cost Smith $40 million. He later said that, "I didn't realize how many people understood the pain and debilitating effect that student debt has for decades, not just on that individual but on families." Student debt forces students to delay buying a home and participating in this system of creating wealth. The short answer is, we have a problem, said Smith. The most important thing that lifts people in their station of life is education. We have to make it affordable. Smith also founded the Fund2 Charitable Foundation. The foundation has made grants worth nearly $250 million to a broad range of charities, including the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer, UNCF, the Opportunity Network, and the National Park Foundation. This act of giving does not stop with Smith. His wife, Hope Dworzak, once took their boys to a Walmart and told them to buy whatever they wanted. Excited, the boys filled trolleys. On the way home, she stopped at a collection site for needy families and told their boys to unload everything. The lesson was, they had to give it away. As we are in a pandemic, Smith, remembering 1970s, took indicative to introduce grants for African-American-owned business. In response, Congress approved a $2 trillion emergency rescue measure called the CARES Act. This package included $349 billion in loans for small businesses that could be converted to grants. All the money was gone in 13 days after launching it. Companies that had well-established ties to big financial institutes were able to easily navigate the process, while millions of other businesses, including those owned by African Americans, were locked out. The crisis was severe. Smith knew he had to live up to his teachings from his parents and decided to do something. The average business has about 2 months of sustaining capital to live off, Smith said, but small and minority-owned businesses only have about 2 weeks. Smith knew that additional legislation would be needed to provide more money. Many of African American-owned businesses were small with fewer than 5 employees. They didn't have access to the banking system or the political system that bigger companies did. I've gotten to know quite a few people in my lifetime and have been able to build some long-lasting relationships. I believe now is the time to utilize those relationships if I could. Smith stressed the need to ensure that minority-owned businesses implement new technology and establish relationships with large banks. Smith succeeded in convincing Congress to create a $10 billion pool of money for CDFIs. These entities make loans to low-income communities. However, getting money from Congress into the CDFI is not easy. Smith needed to persuade business owners, many of whom were already feeling burned out by the program, to reapply. In order to get the word out, Smith connected with African American celebrities to provide service announcements from their homes during the shutdown, encouraging minority business owners to apply. The ads ran on social media to engage Black churches and religious institutions, and it worked. It caught the attention of many business owners, one of whom was McRae, the Maryland boutique owner, who said that you couldn't go on social media without seeing them. After applying, she received a loan for $5,600 for her shop of 9 workers. Smith is much more than just creating wealth. He uses his resource to bring good in the community. We have to ensure that our society has the ability to actually cure its own problems, and that is what Smith is doing. His story teaches us that hard work pays off, but most importantly, when you do make it, remember where you come from and provide resources to help people around you. Until next time, have a good one.